are sitting here today with the beautiful Jennifer Hoffman. Welcome to Blend Connection Special Sauce Series. How are you today, Jennifer?
I'm great. Thank you very much for having me.
Absolutely. So we are meeting you here at the Soul Explosion and Green Living Expo at Austin, Texas. And can you tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do?
I'm a spiritual author and teacher and writer. And I call myself a writer, and I'll explain that in just a minute when I give you my tips. I help people transform their lives by giving them tools for self-empowerment.
Fantastic. And how did you get started down this track?
I got laid off from my corporate job 6 times in 8 years and
Wow.
decided that it was time for me to stop pursuing the doors that were definitely closed to me. I also, in 2003, was visited by Archangel Uriel, who asked me to do channeling and writing, to which I promptly said no. I just didn't feel qualified, and I was still on the corporate track. I really wanted a corporate job. And then after my final layoff in 2007, I finally said, okay, fine, I'll do this. I have been doing intuitive readings, channelings, writing a newsletter since 2003. I've now published my second book. I have a readership of over 2 million for my newsletter. I am on Facebook. I have a couple of websites. And I have a background in corporate training and in business, which really has helped me run my own business.
Wow, fantastic. So, that's really impressive. 2 million readership. That's phenomenal. So, what would you say you have done to attract a great following?
I offer good content, and I offer it on a consistent basis. So my readers know, for example, that every week I'm going to publish a new newsletter, and it's consistent. I also have a radio show on Blog Talk Radio that I've had now for 3 years. It's the Enlightening Life radio show, and it's consistent. They know that every week they can come to the show and listen to the content and participate, and I do take live callers. I think one of the things that you need to do if you're going to build a large following is to be very consistent in what you offer.
Very good. I like that information. So, what would you say are maybe 3 tips that you would give to holistic practitioners to grow their business?
Well, the first thing I would say is be clear in what it is you offer. I think so many people get a little bit too vague and they really don't niche themselves tightly enough. So, for example, going up to someone and saying, I do Reiki, well, that doesn't mean anything to me. Be more results focused. So what benefit do you offer your clients? What kinds of results do they get from you? And define your services that way, and it'll help people understand what you do. And when they understand what you do, they're more likely to be more interested in learning more about you. The second thing I would say is be consistent in what you offer. So if you write a newsletter, decide when it's going to come out. Is it weekly? Is it every 2 weeks? Is it once a month? Do it on a schedule that you can manage, because I can tell you, writing a weekly newsletter that I have now written consistently for 8 years has been a real, it's not a time drag, but it's been a commitment, and my audience expects my newsletter now. They love it, they share it with their friends, it's posted on sites all over the world, but it also is very, very consistent. And the third is to not be afraid to share from your heart. So, we run heart-centered businesses, we have big hearts, our hearts are open, we want to share from the heart. Don't be afraid to share your gift, whatever that gift is, and let yourself be guided in the direction that you're taken, because sometimes being in the spiritual world, we think that we're separated from other people. There's kind of a wall between the spiritual and the material, and that's not necessarily true. Sometimes we're led to do certain things, to allow yourself to be led, and that's how you build a profitable business, by going to the area that needs you, and you'll be led in that area.
Absolutely. Now, Blend works a lot with holistic practitioners in the community, connecting them to business and technology resources. Oftentimes, we find that holistic practitioners lack the skills to run their practice effectively. And you've given such fantastic information to help guide these practitioners. For those who are really struggling in business, do you have any words of wisdom to share with them?
I do, and I have a really strong business background and a very strong technical background. In fact, my career was in business and in technology. So I came into this world understanding business, understanding technology, and being able to use those very effectively. That said, there are still things that I have to learn. Technology changes very quickly. I think one of the biggest mistakes holistic practitioners make is to not realize that they run a business and their practice is a business. They have to manage their finances, manage their physical assets, make sure that they're not overcommitting themselves, but also look at their business as making money. And there's nothing wrong with making money. If you are pulled out of, like as I was, a corporate environment into a more spiritual world like I was, then it's because this is where you need to make money. And I find a lot of holistic practitioners have a real problem with the concept of money and earning a living through their practice.
Yes.
But they also don't manage their practice well.
Yes.
Starting out with doing a financial inventory, not how much can you make in your business, but how much do you need to live, and then focus on that. And I do that every day. I know how much money I need to make every day and how much money I need to make every month to pay my bills and to manage my life, and that's the number I focus on.
Yes.
And I think as a manifestation exercise, do that. If you need to make $300 a day, then focus on making a minimum of $300 a day, and you'll be surprised at how that money will come in. Even if it comes in at midnight, you'll have that money if you stay focused on it.
I love that. That's beautiful. So you brought your book with you, and I wanted to ask you to share a little bit about that.
Oh, I brought it right here. So my book
Yes.
this is my second book, Ascending into Miracles, The Path of Spiritual Mastery. There's a very interesting story about this book. First of all, it took me 7 years to write it,
Wow.
only because I thought it was done, and it was never done. And then I pre-sold it 2 years ago, and the people who bought it had to wait 2 years for it, which made me feel very bad.
Oh, that's so funny.
It put even more pressure on me to finish it.
Yes.
But the book was also my commitment, and I knew that once I wrote this book, then I was fully committed to this path that I had up until that point done, because I knew that it was my work, but I kind of didn't want to. So publishing this book has been, my commitment to this work, and I love this book. It's a kind of a spiritual primer. It talks about everything that's on your spiritual path that you go through, starting with understanding your karma, to understanding soul contracts, the promises you make with other people, what soulmates really are, the process of spiritual initiation, which is something we all go through and
Yes.
everyone is going through right now, and everything that takes you from this learning into healing and growth and transformation.
Wow, that sounds like a really powerful package all in one. You really are a power-packed woman.
Thank you.
So one of the things we ask in our special sauce series is, what is the special sauce factor that you bring into your life that makes you so unique in what you do?
I would have to say there's two things. One is that I never quit. So I have a very strong determination to finish what I start and to give my clients, my customers, my readers, the very best of what I have to offer. And that probably kind of spills into the second thing is I'm very much a perfectionist, not in the sense that I have to be perfect at everything, but in the sense that I'm very committed to them. So everything I do is aligned with my work, is aligned with who I am, and I know with what they need and what they can expect from me, and I'm consistent in that. So they know that they're going to get the same thing from me all the time, and it's going to be at a certain level of integrity, and that's what your clients will expect from you.
Absolutely.
Is if you are doing work that involves being spiritually integrated, then they're going to expect you to also be integrated.
And how can people find you online?
There's a couple ways to find me. I'm on Facebook. I'm on, again, Blog Talk Radio, and they can find me at www.enlighteninglife.com. That's ENLIGHTENING life.com.
Beautiful.
One of the things that I want to say to your audience too is that sometimes doing this work can be very overwhelming. The world is in a weird place right now. We're all kind of in a weird place right now. But focus on what you offer and your gifts and your talents and how you serve, because each of us has a role to play in that, and no one can do it all, and we're not supposed to do it all. There's a certain amount of sharing and connection that's happening in this community, which I think is wonderful. but it's all about being connected, and each of us contributes to the whole, and that way the whole gets completed.
Phenomenal. So I'm just kind of curious. I'm going to ask you this question, having channeled information. What do you see for the future of holistic businesses coming up?
Well, when we talked about this earlier in the expo, I see an entire new generation of speakers, teachers, healers, authors, people who do energy work, who do clearing work, who do all different levels of work coming into the marketplace. And I believe that there will be less of a distinction between the holistic aspect of business and the business itself, to where there's going to be more and more people interested in seeking services from holistic providers. So it's our job to help everyone, we need to help each other, but run profitable, sustainable businesses.
Absolutely, and I think you said the key there that Blend really has in terms of working with the community is we want to assist holistic practitioners to become successful, sustainable, and profitable.
Absolutely.
So we definitely celebrate your fantastic and phenomenal success. Jennifer, you are truly remarkable, amazing, and inspiring.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for spending a little bit of time with Blend, and we will talk to you soon.
Thank you very much, Anne.
Take care.